Today, I received an email from someone that is a connection via LinkedIn, but I've never had any interactions with them. So the email did come as a surprise because it was really filled with quite a bit of personal information. And the final question was, what am I supposed to do to catch up on these gaps? And my initial thought was, I don't know. I know what I would do to close those types of gaps if they existed in my life, but I don't know what they should do. And so when I reached back, I offered some coaching questions. This is the approach that I also took in leadership. These are the coaching questions that I provided back. First is, what have you already done in each of these areas that you need to catch up on or close the gap in, and to what effect? Second was, for each of these things on your list, what is the order of priority for you to solve or resolve the gap? And then the final question is, once you've prioritized, what is the first step to move each item on the list forward? And my prompt was, then begin acting, then begin doing. In leadership, I approached questions of this nature in the exact same way, because one of my philosophies in leadership is don't tell, coach. Every time I tell in leadership, every time a leader tells, what ends up happening is we promote the individual coming back to ask questions of this nature over and over again, because we're not teaching them how to be critical in their thinking skills. One of the best pieces of feedback I receive as a leader to know that I'm doing right by my people is when they come to me and they say, I had this problem, and then I ask myself, what would Teresa do? And then I started to ask myself similar questions that you've asked me before. And I found myself in answers that allowed me to move forward, and I found a solution. So the next level up, when I've received that type of compliment and feedback, has been, who else do you see doing things, thinking in ways, solving problems in ways that you also want to elevate to? Who else can you be learning from without needing to ask them to tell you what to do, but just thinking from their perspective? What would blank do? And inevitably, that person will come up with 2, 3, 4, 5 colleagues that they admire, that they now can add to their roster of what would so-and-so do in this situation. Inevitably, what happens is the individual learns how to self-coach by expanding their perspective beyond their emotional state and beyond just the state of what is it that I know, what is it that I have history and experience with. They're expanding how they're tapping into wisdom beyond themselves, expanding it, looking at wisdom exists within their network that they can access at any moment. And what happens when we do this in leadership, when we really pull on our coaching skills, is we help other people to soar independent of us. And the benefit of that is when you step away as a leader, for whatever reason you're away, like vacation, or you're in a meeting, they don't all get stuck. Because without access to you, if you're a telling manager, they all stand still if you're not accessible. And that is not how we achieve results. That is not how we innovate. That is not how we move through challenging things, is by standing still.